A lot of times I get people asking me like, what does it take to be successful? And one of the biggest factors that determines whether or not you be successful is how you spend your time. We all get the same 84,600 seconds a day. And the question becomes, what are you doing with yours? Today, I was meeting with some of my students, and we were talking about the election. And I'm talking with my students, and they were like, Professor Phillips, like, I voted and nothing I voted for won. They was like, I don't quite understand the electoral college, Professor Phillips. Like, what is that about? Like, how Hillary win the popular vote, but she don't win the presidency? They're like, what is that about? So I'm taking a moment to explain to them how it works, how the electoral college works, and it's not really the popular vote that puts the president in office, and the electoral college, and how occasionally, I think it's 4 times in American history, that the individual that won the presidency was not the individual who won the popular vote. And they looked at me and they said, Professor Phillips, that don't sound very democratic to me. And they were sad, and they started to get discouraged. And they were like, what is this all about, Professor Phillips? Like, how are we supposed to navigate this society that tells us that if we vote and we participate, like, we can have a voice, we can have an impact in our community? And they said, Professor Phillips, what can I do to make a difference in my community? How can we shape the narrative of people in our community? I showed them the documentary, The 13th. Anybody seen the documentary, The 13th, on Netflix? If you haven't seen that documentary, I recommend you see that documentary. It will change the way you look at different things. They connect the dots about how slavery and Jim Crow are perpetuated today through different things, such as the prison industrial complex, the school to prison pipeline, and different things like that. But nevertheless, they said, Professor Phillips, how can we get involved in the community? And they said it seems so daunting. They said so many of us don't graduate on time. We have children out of wedlock. So many single parent households. They's like, how can we tackle this big old thing? And I could see that they began to become nervous, and they began to get anxious because they thought it just was such a big problem to try to conquer. And I said, how do you eat an elephant if you was to eat an elephant? It's like, nobody eats elephants, Professor Phillips. I'm like, work with me, guys, work with me. I'm not talking about literally, guys. We're going to eat an elephant up in here. But I said, you eat an elephant one small piece at a what? One small piece at a time. And you see, what it reminds me of is that grassroots approach. Because we're not talking about a top to bottom approach. We're not talking about somebody coming here throwing a whole bunch of funds to make a difference in the community. We're talking about what can we do from the grassroots level to get that change in that process that we're looking for. And I told him it could be something as simple as show the documentary. It can be a conversation. It could be the fact that you said, you know what? I'm not going to be one of those individuals that continues to buy into the negative stereotypes about the people in our community. I'm sorry, I'm not sharing fight videos on Facebook. I'm sorry, I'm not going to share and post World Star hip hop videos. You can do small things to make a difference in your community. And that's what I wanted to talk about with you guys today. Don't let this moment, don't let the fact that you've graduated this program be something that it just goes on your resume. You put it on LinkedIn, you brag and you talk about it, but we forget to get involved in the community.